What's up everybody and welcome to another video on Ragnarok Online Origin Classic. Today we are going to be talking about the Magic Biochem. Now I've received a lot of requests on what my build is for the Magic Biochem, especially after releasing that Dimensional Drill gameplay video with Magic Biochem. Now Magic Biochem is one of the best semi-DPS support classes out there right now in the game. It gives so much utility to your entire team, not to mention with the popularity of Master Smiths in PvP, Biochem becomes one of the jobs that you cannot live without. Now, there are many ways to play the Magic Biochem. Some tend to go towards more damage type. Some others like to play it with a little bit more focus on survivability. You can also play it in a way of in terms of a balanced build. But today I'll be showcasing the tank version, where it's it does a little bit of damage, sure, but its primary focus is to debuff the opponent team as well as buff up your own team. Now let's check it out. First, we're going to go through the cards, since most of the things are going to be very standard across every single job. Now for cards, I like to use on the weapon, you can go for Hydras for a little bit more damage. If you're going to be playing full utility, you can use cards like the Metaler or the Requiem card to be able to provide additional debuffs towards the enemies. You can also use the Familiar card, which is a very good card. A lot of people don't use Deverucci, and this blind can be very annoying against certain people. You can also use cards like Skeleton or the Savage Bait for additional stun. This is really just up to you in terms of what sort of impact you want to bring towards your team. So all of these cards are very viable. You can also just stick to the Hydras if you want to. Today I'm going to be playing it with Hydra in Dimensional Drill just to provide a little bit more damage for my team. Shield card is going to be Tara Frog. You can prepare Horn cards for Paladins, of course, or you can also use the Orc Warrior in case there are a lot of Dorams. Otherwise, you can just stick to the double Tara Frogs, or if you're one of the lucky people to be able to get Edgar or GTB, you can also use them, but I personally prefer Tara Frog just to be able to bypass the opponent's demi-human damage. Shield, the armor card can be whatever as well. You don't really need Cornodus anymore since you are a Biochem. I like to use the Steel Chon to play against Professors. If there's a lot of Paladins, if you have a Ghost Ring, you can also use Ghost Ring. Creamy Fear and Sasquatch are also very good cards. And of course, if you have Angeling card, that is probably the best card for you to use in PvP. Cloak card, there are a lot of options as well. Choco is for more of a generic catch-all sort of reduction card. Sometimes I also use the Dustiness in case there's a lot of Biochems, in case there's a lot of Professors, or if you have Orc Baby prepared for Paladins as well, you can use that. Shoe card, of course, the Double Moonlight. Accessory cards, Horong and Furious Pouring. Horong, of course, to be able to help lock down the assassins, and Furious Pouring is one of the cards that I like to use the most. It provides you a lot of lockdown in which your team may be lacking, especially if you're playing with if you're playing a 5-man squad without a paladin. Your team would be lacking a little bit in terms of lockdown, so the Furious Pouring does help alleviate some of that. And the other accessory cards can just be whatever. I use the Greatest General just for a little bit more M attack, for a bit more damage. You can also use cards like you can use Spores if you want a bit more survivability, but otherwise it is pretty stock standard there as well. Headgear card, I use the Orc Hero Illusion as well as the Marduk. You can also put in Deverucci or the Gear card if you also have them, just to be able to provide you a bit more sustainability. Steel for Grizzly is also good if you have that already. The Facewear card, you can use the Rose Ornament if you're playing it as a full support, but if you want to do a little bit of damage, then the Goblin Leader Puppet is for you. Mouthwear card has to be Doppelganger Puppet 2s. They provide the most medium damage reduction, and that will be a primary source of your survivability is coming from the size reduction here as well. And of course, the backwear card, it can be Drake, it can be GTB. Costume card, there's only the Baphomet, which I don't have yet, which is not really important. It's just a very small, minute amount of PvP damage and reduction that doesn't really matter. So I would focus on getting everything other than the Baphomet first before you actually go for the Baphomet. Enchant wise, it's pretty straightforward as well. For the headgear, you can use PvP tech or M attack depending on what you want. PvP tech provides you a little bit more survivability, while going for superior M attack is just mainly focusing on damage. For your weapon and your accessories, it's gonna be magic boon all around. If you have M attack percent there like this, that will be even better, but I don't, so I'll just use whatever I have. MDef, I'm primarily, because I have such high PDef, I'm from my feathers and other parts, I'm primarily focusing on MDef on my mouthwear as well as facewear. For armor and cloak, I use M damage on the cloak, I use vitality boost on the armor, and then P damage reduction on the shield and the shoes. Backwear and armor, I use PvP technique, again, just for a little bit more survivability. I'm not really focusing on damage with this build. If you want to do a bit more damage, you can use the superior M attacks that you may have. If you're playing it as a DPS, you might also need a little bit more ignore MDef as well. But if not, you can really just go for PvP tech. Feather-wise, this is the setup I use for a more tanky biochem. Damage is secondary for me in this build, but if you want to play a little bit of a balanced build where you can provide damage while also being very sustainable, or if you want to play more of a full-on damage dealing type of magic biochem, which I do not suggest, you can tweak your feathers as needed. So the most important part about defense is PDef and MDef, which is the physical defense and magical defense, and that you get in abundance from your knight, your divine, and your nature feathers. Soul is a must-have as well for your defensive feathers, and I leveled them to a higher tier just because for this current build I'm focusing more on survivability. Now if you're going for more of a balanced build, you can just use divine, nature, knight, and dark or light in the attack feathers, and get time, space, day, sky, and justice or faith in the attack feathers if you want to play more of an offensive, more of a balanced build as well. So in terms of feather setup, it highly depends on what you want to achieve with your biochem. For me, for today, I'm going to be playing it as a nearly full tank biochem, so that is why I'm focusing with this sort of specific feather setup. Pet-wise, it is all about debuffing and also providing buffs to your team. The King Piggy as well as the Child of Earth, mainly for survivability. You also have the Squidget to buff your team's P damage, so he has a lot of buffs for your team as well. You can also use, of course, the Teacup Rabbit if you wish to provide a little bit more CC for your team, but otherwise, whatever pets can work as well, depending on the role you fit in your team. A very important part for biochem is to make sure that your card weight is max. So you can buy these heavy block of irons from the shop, put them into your cart so that your cart clash will provide additional slows. Stat build wise, this is pretty straightforward. I add just enough fixed dex to achieve 56% fixed cast time. You don't need that much fixed cast time because it doesn't really affect a lot of your skills that much. So about 50 to 55% is already enough. You can put the rest in towards int and luck or vit depending on your build. If you're primarily focused on crit rest, you can put them into luck, or else you can just do vit like me. For the Divine Armament, it is primarily focused on survivability for today for me, so I use the Plant Weapon, which is one of the most OP weapons available for the Biochem or even any support job. If you read the Plant Divine Armament, the effect of it is pretty huge. It adds 10% P damage, M damage reduction for your entire team. It also reduces enemies' PDef and MDef for targets hit by Hellplant. Now, this specific line only applies to the Hellplant that you do, not the Hellplant that is applied to your team. So make sure that you have to walk in next to your opponent to reduce their PDef and MDef. Scream also reduces their attack speed by 15% if you're using the Plant Divine Armament, and of course just a little bit more survivability on the rest. Gorpne for more survivability, and of course with the shield we're going to be using Valkyrie Shield as well. that is all there really is to being a support biochem. There is a lot of things you can do with this class, whether as a full support, whether you want to play it as a semi DPS, you can tweak it to your liking or to your team's needs. That's gonna be all for today's video, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you enjoyed this one. Make sure you check out my gameplay video on the support biochem in Dimensional Drill as well. Until then guys, this is gonna be it, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.